me, Nesser! Hey, it's me, Nesser. Welcome to Nesser Pod. This is where I dive a little deeper into some of my guests' lives. Sometimes we dive a little too deep, other times we stay on the surface vibing. Either way, come along on this journey. I hope you enjoy this episode.
So I do like social media marketing, but I don't really put that on my socials really. It's just something I do kind of part time.
But like, is that not connected to social media?
It is, like I feel like from what I do, like I know how to handle a brand Instagram because of it. So it's like if I ever did an interview with that, I'd be like, yeah, well, here's my resume. My CV is kind of like my Instagram page.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, okay. And then
that's it. I'm finding that really hard, that whole brand thing. Like being a brand.
Yeah.
Because I'm just on vibes.
Yeah.
So people are like, what do you do? Like, I do everything.
But the thing is,
I'm Nesser.
I'm the same way. Like, I feel like no one should be put into just a box for one day. Everyone always says, oh, be like a niche or whatever. But it's hard.
I hate that word.
It's hard, especially when you like so many different things, you know? So I'm
a triple threat. I'm a quadruple threat.
You're a quadruple. What's a one above a quadruple? I don't know.
Quadruple plus one.
You're that, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Is audio good? Everything good?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I feel like, do you know what? I definitely scared you. I can feel the energy has changed.
I'm sorry, okay. No, I'm fine. Because you said it, because I thought this was just going to be like a chat.
It is a chat.
Interview.
It is a chat. But it's like, I want to talk to you. I want to get to know you. That's why I didn't tell you anything before. Because this is me and you meeting.
Can you remember the first time we actually met?
Yeah. 0207. Did I meet you before that?
I feel like I met you before that.
No, I've never seen you before. Where do you think you've met me before?
Are you sure? I feel like I met you at a Girl Code event.
I've never been to a Girl Code event. I only moved to Dublin last year.
Because you knew my sister.
Okay, first of all, I didn't know Fiona was your sister.
Yeah. See, we all have different surnames.
I didn't, I was like, and then I saw you, and then you were like, oh, my sister, and I thought you was just joking, like, oh, hey, sis. And then you're like, no, actual sister.
Because we call everyone sis, I know.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so I was just like, okay, black girl sis, yeah, okay. Cool.
I feel like a lot of people in this kind of like black and Irish circle don't know that me and Fiona are actually sisters.
That's
because
crazy.
Fiona does her thing, because she's a photographer or whatever.
Do you know what, in my head, I literally goes, how did you guys become sisters? Why?
No, like
Why did I ask that?
We all have different surnames. It's like a Burundian thing. It's not.
Oh
even,
yeah.
Like, we don't have different like dads. Like my mom.
Have you been to Bujumbura?
Yeah.
Unreal.
Oh my god. I'm
I'm not gonna lie. I was like, I hope that's the fucking country. I was like, because between that and Somalia.
Bujumbura is the capital.
Yeah.
The country is Burundi.
No, I know.
Yeah,
I was saying like, I hope that's the right country.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like,
so many people don't know it.
No, I didn't know because I started working for I work for like a humanitarian NGO. Yeah. So like we work in like sub-Saharan African countries. So like that's how I know Burundi. Prior to this, I couldn't tell you anything.
It's really poor. Well, like it's rich in like its beauty and like minerals and shit, but like that, like I've been there.
Monetary wise, it's
exactly.
Yeah. So were you born there or were you born here?
I was born in Germany.
Oh, mad.
Yeah, because there was a war in the 90s. So like, long story short, my parents moved from Burundi to Germany because like my dad went to university there in the 80s. He had like friends, so we set up there. And then we came to Ireland because everyone was like, Ireland is giving people visas, go.
Yeah, freedom. But like, your dad gives me like chill vibes though.
He is.
He gives me like chill, sweet vibes.
He is chill, and I'm almost too chill because of him.
Because of him.
Yeah.
And that's why you can just
Daryl will tell you, my boyfriend will tell you that. Like, he's like very regiment, go.
Yeah.
My mom's kind of like that, but my dad's just chill. Even when you go to like different African countries, I don't know if it's the same in where you're from, but
I'm from Nigeria.
You're from Nigeria.
So there's no chill there. Just
there's
chaos.
no chill.
Chaos and violence.
But like, do you know when people are just walking on the street, like in Burundi, like...
Oh, I've never been to Nigeria.
Oh, okay.
But I don't envision it being that.
See, no, the roads are madness.
Yeah.
Like, people beep like it's just for fun.
I'm scared.
Right? But when you're walking, like, people walk slow, they enjoy themselves, they show up late. Like, it's just slow, easy life there.
You that have been to Nigeria, does that sound like Nigeria to you?
What is?
Slow, chill.
When people are walking around, just beating.
I wouldn't use the word slow, chill to describe Nigeria.
I don't think I would say that. But I've never been. I'm trying to go.
That's probably like Nigeria is what it is. Like, it's going, it's successful. Yeah.
It's successful in violence and crackheadedness.
Yeah,
but yeah, talk to me about your family life growing up. So obviously,
I keep coughing. I need to drink some water.
As long as it's not COVID, that's grand because I have holidays.
I've had COVID like 3 times. It's definitely not. Yeah.
I have COVID. I have had all the boosters. Like, I'm on the top of their list every time.
I know, the first time I got it was so bad as well.
Disgusting.
I literally thought I was going to die.
Family life. So obviously, Burundian parents living in Germany, now immigrants in Ireland. What does that look like for you?
It looks like a lot of different like cultures. Like, so basically in Burundi they speak French and Kirundi. So I grew up with like those two sort of elements in my home, and like we were around a bunch of like. There wasn't that many Burundians in Ireland, so it was a bunch of Congolese people because they spoke French as well, and it was just like all these parties, African parties. So like I surrounded myself with like black people growing up through like those kind of parties. But then school growing up here was just like I was the only black girl in primary school, so it was very like new. Like we were the first. It felt like we were always the first black in something in stage school, in the estate, and whatever. But to be honest, I actually liked my childhood. Like I thought it was like fun.
That's refreshing.
Yeah.
I was angry my whole childhood.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like being an adult now. It's nice. Life is good now.
Like but I think as I grow up, you were angry about certain aspects and maybe certain opportunities that you miss that you don't know you miss because of your circumstances. But I don't think my parents ever made me feel that way growing up. So
what in specific have you learned growing up that you feel like you missed out on?
Just like money things. Like I realized that we were actually poor.
Yeah.
And there's like loads of like we got toys from like charity shops, clothes from charity shops. But like I never felt that way and I didn't know about it. And then you grow up now and you're thinking maybe you missed out on certain school trips because you just never had the funds, or you never thought to just, you learned at a certain age, I don't ask because I just know the answer already. There's certain things like that and you're like, maybe I could have had different experiences or whatever. But to be honest, I wouldn't change it for the world because me now, I value like experiences and money different, and I know what I want my future to look like, maybe because of how I grew up. But then I also appreciate all the little things. Like when we were growing up, we might have had like pocket money of €2, but I know how to make €2 work. Like if me and Fiona like wanted to like eat lunch and we'd be starving, just get like a roll for 30 cents, get a banana, stuff it in the roll, some digestive biscuits, only 35 cents. You'd be full. But
then again, inflation now, that roll would be what, 20 euro on its own now. But like, do you know like when you were saying like that you missed out on things, do you think that like if you look at it from a different perspective that you were actually shielded from things? Because it's like, I find like a lot of, when I think of like, oh, if I was going to be rich, I'm like, oh, my kids would be shielded from like struggles and stuff like that. But like from being poor or not having access to everything, there were certain experiences that you subconsciously were actually probably like shielded from that you didn't know at the time. Like, you know, like when people are going out and like drinking at a young age or out, and like there's certain things that you're exposed to at a very young age that you might not have been just because you had stricter immigrant parents and you had to be at home.
That's
but
so
I'm
good.
literally only thinking about that as you're speaking.
Like were you allowed to date? I was never allowed to date.
I'm 26, I'm not allowed to date now.
It's like, it's those things. Like I wasn't out for sleepovers, you know, hanging out with friends. My friends were all in Lucan. And I was from Manchester, so like I wasn't allowed to go there. Really had to ask 2 weeks in advance or something. So I was shielded in a way, and I think it also allowed me to grow a bit faster, and I matured a lot quicker. Especially being around older siblings as well, because I am like the third out of 4 kids. So yeah, in a way, I'm happy that my mom was strict, because like, let's say in terms of dating and stuff like that, I didn't have my first boyfriend until I finished college at 21, but my brain was almost fully formed,
stuck on your head, like
made decisions for myself. Like I wasn't blinded by, you know, alcohol and whatever shit like that. So yeah, in a way I'm glad. That's
nice. That's actually really refreshing. I like that we went that way. But Katja, obviously you're here because you know you're a presenter, you're online content creator. How does it feel being on a couch actually? Because now, no, I don't want to jump there too soon. Let's stay in the chronological order. When did you know the content creating was something that when did you know you were pretty?
When did I know I was pretty? Probably when I was 20. I looked like a boy up until I was about 18. And
Do you think so?
I promise you.
Okay. I didn't know you, so I can't gas you.
It's like my face wasn't formed yet.
Yeah,
my face didn't drop. I had no cheekbones.
Yeah.
And I remember being like 10 or 11 and we were in Super Value with my mum and she like passed one of her colleagues and she's like, oh, what's the name of your son?
Oh my God.
And I had those like cornrows. I felt like from that day on, I was like, no one sees me.
Yeah.
No one sees me.
I
was just like, let me just go about my business.
Yeah.
I didn't care too much about being pretty. Never really hung out with guys.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't until I think I was 20. I lost some weight. Went to Germany for my Erasmus. I started getting some male attraction. I was like,
I'm pretty. What does that feel like? How did you kind of, sorry, that's really just distracted me. How do you kind of put a name on that emotion? Or even if it's not emotion, the feeling. How did you feel at that point?
Okay, if I'm being totally honest, like from a couple of years before, I was deemed as pretty buff from like uncles. And it made me feel disgusting.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you almost want them to not like you.
I used to be like, what can I do to remove that? Like I would, do you want me to like wear my skirt up here? Like do I need to carry my school bag, right? Like at 15 I was being catcalled by like 50-year-old uncles. And I was like, that's not the kind of pretty you want to be, right? No. So that like made me feel like weird.
And they're not even lying, most likely don't have money either.
Exactly.
So I can't capitalize on this.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so I think the latter, like when I realized I was like, oh okay, my face is forming, whatever. It just felt like nice.
What did you do about that? How did you use that?
I was very shy, so I think I just stuck to posting selfies on Instagram. Yeah. Okay.
And then how did you grow the content? When did you decide?
So I just did Instagram for fun. I had my first. Yeah, I started Instagram like 2015, and I only started turning it into like content purposes maybe from like 2019. Ish. Yeah.
What spurred that on?
Well, I started a YouTube channel with my boyfriend in 2019, and that made things more like, I guess you were sharing links on your stories. And it felt so weird. It felt so awkward. Instagram's just something you use for your friends, right? And then I wanted to start this YouTube channel with him. And
Ireland's also quite judgy though, isn't it?
Very, very.
It's like, who do you think you are?
And I don't remember myself getting like much support from my friends either.
Yeah, they're probably like, don't show me that.
Yeah, I probably got more support from like my sisters or direct family members, but like friends, it's just gonna be like, okay. Yeah. Or like they'd watch it or whatever, but you'd always felt like you didn't want to force it.
I genuinely don't. I just tell my friends to share it. Like my friends are not my. They're not my target audience.
They're not your target audience, and
I'm okay with them not watching that.
Exactly, and I think it's better to wait it out because the people that actually genuinely follow you, that won't be your friends. Like they're going to be the people that stay to consume the content you put out forever. So. What
started a YouTube channel with your boyfriend.
Yeah,
what type of content were you
posting? It was just like vlogs, travel vlogs, home vlogs, and then that just stopped. And then
why did it stop?
I won't get into that.
Okay, never mind.
So that just stopped, and then the pandemic happened, and then I just started posting out of boredom, and then I got signed to my modeling agency.
Jeez, that's such an inspiring story.
Please, out of boredom.
The first time I like came in contact with you as a person, like I genuinely met you 2 weeks ago or whenever that event was. I never met you before. The first time I saw of you, heard of you was it MIJ Masks brand? Like how
that was
your
first time?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'm not like
that was like a British thing.
Yeah, but I was playing football, so I was not in this space at all. I wasn't even in Ireland, let alone Dublin.
Yeah.
But the first time I ever met you or saw you was like that. And I was like, this is pretty cool. Like I know MIJ Masks. Yeah. And then I saw like, I don't know who posted it, but I saw it on my feed. But like how did you bag that?
I auditioned. Yeah, I auditioned for that. So basically she put out like a call to aspiring presenters, and I had already presented one show before. I did the Spotlight Air to the World that was directed by Zeta. So that had already...
1 second, was that before the MIJ by MIJ Masks?
Yeah.
That's the first time I...
So that kind of like ignited that bug in me, because I always did drama growing up in stage school, so I like that was always an interest. And then a friend shared it with me and she was like, you should go for this. And I was like thousands of people are going for this.
Yeah.
Like all the comments I saw already, I was like, do you know what? I'm doing nothing. I'm in my room. Like all I do is work and sleep and wake up, work and sleep. So I said, fuck it. And I auditioned. Didn't hear anything for about a month. And I just left it to God pretty much. And and then I got an exciting DM. They were like, it was a comment underneath the regular post.
Yeah.
They're like, check your DMs, please. And it was from the MIJ page.
Oh my
and I
God,
was like,
crazy.
no. And then,
All I get is random people pretending that they want to be sugar daddies.
And same so I was like, is this real?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Is this real? Yeah. So that's kind of how it started. And that was a special moment. I think that was the first moment I realized that I wasn't getting things due to I don't know, tokenism or whatever. I really I worked for this. I put out a whole tape. I auditioned for this, and it helped with removing that imposter syndrome that I started getting at the beginning of
Why would you have felt that you were getting things with tokenism?
Because there's this. It's not really. The content creation space in Ireland is not that saturated with Black people, right? So when you feel brands are starting to notice you, especially in the COVID resurgence of BLM and all that stuff, you really just felt am I just ticking a box here? Did I really earn it? Because you see some content from your white counterparts on social media, and it probably has far more engagement because they're more palatable to a white audience. The majority of the audience here is white. So.
That came up during Love Island, and I think I feel like once you start understanding kind of sociology and how things work, I think that will stop being a problem for us as the Black community as much.
Absolutely.
Where people were giving out about Dami and India and be like, oh, they only have 300k followers, these people are around 1 million. I'm like, okay, cool. Apart from Love Island, where do you think Dami and India would have ever popped up in these people's feeds?
Right, I know. Sometimes it's a really good thing.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And unfortunately, we would want them to have more, right? But everything we do as humans breeds from familiarity.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If you don't break that barrier of familiarity, you can't go anything past that. They broke the barrier of familiarity in the sense of they're on Love Island, they're seeing a Black Irish lad and a Black London girl, and they're fucking with them. They're like, oh, these people are pretty cool. But to the majority, if we're talking about the British population outside of London, do they really care that Dami and India are on Love Island?
No. They wouldn't naturally be exposed to a content of any Black person, probably.
So why would they follow them? What do they okay, Dami's chilling with Idris Elba and Damson Idris. I woke up and I was like, that's lit.
Yeah.
Somebody who's living in the Midlands in the UK, what does that mean to them? They probably don't know who Damson Idris is. So I think sometimes I hear you on that tokenism thing, and I think from the way you've mentioned it, it seems like something that was in your past, and you're probably stepping more into confidence in yourself because you've achieved a lot more since then. So
especially, and you might find this as well growing up in Waterford, when your friends are mostly white and white guys are around your friends and you're never approached and you're never looked at twice, you start to think oh my God, I'm lesser than, or maybe I need to work harder to gain the attention of the white eye, and all this just shit like that. And I think that plays into your head as you grow up, and it takes a while to break all that down. And I also think it takes you surrounding yourself with the right people, the right community, and also just not giving a shit. I really had to stop caring to just continue doing what I like to do. You know,
I didn't want to go into this, and I didn't want to talk about your relationship, but you brought it up about. So obviously you're in an interracial relationship.
Yeah.
So all of that growing up and dealing with that, how is that transcended into a different society? But now you're in the public eye, in the sense of having YouTube and stuff. Did that ever play on your mind, or did people ever make you feel a certain way for being proud of your relationship, being proud of yourself and not caring?
Them being caring about people judging.
Yeah, do you ever find comments that would make you think why do people think this?
No, because personally, I feel like you shouldn't go into either a YouTube channel or maybe posting publicly on Pinterest or Instagram until you've got a really solid foundation. And I think we had a solid foundation, and we're if you're on like the fence with your relationship, it's just not
regardless of race, like just don't do it.
I know, yeah.
Do you know what's so funny? I was on a call today and there's an episode I did with Changes to the Game, shout out the boys, they had a episode and I was like newly like in a relationship thing, like they asked me off cam and we just went in. So sometimes when you step on a podcast you forget that, like, and they asked me on camera and I was like, yeah, I have a man, blah 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 blah. I don't have a man. I didn't have a man. I thought I had a man, but I don't.
Okay.
But thank God the video, visuals, audio, whatever happened, and it's never come out. But it's like, I hear you on that sense is that you should be in a secure place, that you're okay for whatever to come out, like regardless of whatever. You don't want to always be second guessing. Yeah. Imagine you're posting and somebody is like, oh, he was in my gaff yesterday.
I know.
I'll flatline. I'll actually flatline.
Jeez, no one's gonna come embarrass me.
That's crazy.
Like that.
But yeah. To swerve back into like model industry, like where do you see yourself fitting in the model industry right now in Ireland then?
Yeah, well, I think for Ireland it's pretty easy because there's literally such a small market for black and curvy women. I could probably count them on my two hands. Yeah. So with you starting on one. Yeah. So it was kind of like a no-brainer. Like there was such an empty gap for it. And I remember when I spoke to my agency, like I never really saw myself as like modeling, but they were like, you'd be great for this, whatever. They signed me and I literally had my first job within like 2 or 3 weeks. Jeez. And it was proper like full on like poster outside Dundrum, everything, and I'm like, this is my first ever modeling job, but people like received it well because they're like, oh, we don't have someone like that. And like I said, it's like they need to tick a box. Do we have a skinny white girl? Do we have someone from Asian descent and someone?
But isn't that representation? And isn't that something that you're big on?
It is in a way, but I feel like
the heart behind it.
Yeah, the heart, it has to be really like intentional, and also if it's a campaign where there are like a couple of girls, there shouldn't just be one. Like, because I've done campaigns where it's more than just 2 girls. So why does it just have to be like 6 white girls and then just one Asian, do you know? But in some cases, like you see a lot of, you know, people like brand owners and designers that are genuinely like different and are from a creative nature and are exposed to, you know, more shit out there and international shit. So they actually really champion having people of different ethnicities like representing their brand. So it's always a nice environment. Yeah.
The next time I saw you, which was this year, was front page of Stellar Mag. Yes. And I don't care for magazines. I'm not a fashion person. Yeah. Like I try to look my best, but it's not something that, do you know what I mean? Big up Oyinda, Zeta. Yeah, like amazing job. Like, but I saw that and I was like, this is not something that I think about daily, but in Little, the magazine was there and it was the only one with diversity in it. Yeah. And it just stood out to me, and I didn't even know you. I followed you to tag you in that picture. Yeah. And it was kind of like, I was like, this is pretty impressive, and I want to know your story, and I want to know your experiences in that industry, because I don't want to assume that it's all bad all the time, and I don't want to assume that everybody has struggles, because that's not the case. But in this thing that you've done, and in this really inspiring thing, and being like in front of other people, and maybe like unintentionally inspiring people, like how did that make you feel in seeing that, like being front page of any magazine, and that's a pretty big magazine in Ireland, like how did that feel? Oh, that just gave me like chills. I felt really emotional because Kiss magazine was a magazine that me and my older sister used to collect, which was kind of like the baby of Stellar magazine, and now Stellar. So I've known about this magazine for years, and just the fact that I was on the cover, it was just insane, because I just kept thinking of myself. Sorry, I touched my mic. I never saw people like that in magazine covers when I was growing up, and I wanted that so bad. Like I was obsessed with Samantha Mumba. Because she was like the only person of color, Irish person of color that you could look up to. Like when you don't have people to relate, like you can't dream what you can't see. Like you need to be able to see yourself in those kind of positions. Because I was a dreamer. I watched MTV. I wanted to be a pop star, whatever. I just knew I wanted to be an entertainer of some sort. But imagine growing up and like everywhere you go, you don't see that at all. So I was just thinking of like little me, and even like kids that could look at that. You don't even have to buy it. It's just even walking past it. Like you said, like you stop because you see like just
diversity, color.
Yeah, literal color.
Yeah, so I don't know. It was a really proud moment
Yeah.
for me, and I think it took a minute because my imposter syndrome is crazy. Like I play down things so much,
Yeah.
and I don't know why. Maybe because I'm on such like a fast trajectory, and I don't mean to be.
Yeah.
But I just think the new Ireland is just moving so much faster. Like they realize, oh shit, we were so bad at diversity and inclusion. Let's be so much better. And they're literally turning it around, and I'm like, whoa, wait, stop.
So it's a chance to catch up.
Yeah. So that's why I think it was all so intense. Like those few months for me were really intense. A lot of things were happening in those like 6 months of shooting that. So it was a lot of emotions, but mainly I was so proud.
Yeah.
And I still have it, and I'll always keep it. I'll probably frame it. And yeah.
How do you deal with your emotions in being in the spotlight? So you may not think, like, obviously there's levels to influencers, there's levels to whatever, but as somebody in our community as such, you're definitely on the higher spectrum in the sense of our community is like this little bubble. Like we have people that are at the top, but they're really not.
On the ground.
Do you get me? But you aren't just in our community. You're doing stuff outside of the community and in the Irish community. Yeah. Also, like, how do you navigate your emotions and like your mental health in those times?
Well, it's very important to not compare yourself, because that is the first kind of bump I had to get over. When you see like your white peers growing at such a faster pace, like you can't compare yourself. Your story is different to theirs. People are going to gravitate to them so much more easier. You almost have to work twice as hard to like get people to really see that you're like a human. So yeah, comparison was the first thing I really had to tell myself. In your own time, in God's time, in your divine time, everything will work out. And I had to journal, I manifest, I pray, all these things to control my emotions, because it's very easy to get to a dark place, to be like, why am I getting this? Why is she getting this and I'm not getting this yet? Am I moving fast enough? Like, should I be posting more? Like, I feel so burnt out sometimes. I feel like I work like 3 jobs now. Yeah. And there was a day where I just had to like just call a sick day. Yeah. Because I almost felt like I was gonna burst into tears, because I just had so much to do. Yeah. So much on my plate. And it got to a point where I stopped enjoying it, and I was like, I used to love this. Yeah. And when you get to a certain point like that, for your own mental health, you need to know, I have to stop. I need to like this again, because I want longevity. Yeah. You know? 100%. I think no one goes into it expecting like, I just want to make money off it. You go into it because you actually like it. Because who's gonna get up and put on a full beat of makeup for like 45
Some people do.
minutes?
I'm not gonna lie. I've seen, and I think that's kind of the next generation where we're seeing people where we did things for fun, like you said, like, and I joked at the start saying like, oh, that's a really inspirational story, like you just did something randomly, got picked up, but someone has seen you picked up, and they're growing up with the representation that you've set up out in, saying, I see her doing this.
Immediate career.
Screw all of this. I want to do that. I want to start off like. People, girls younger than us, are starting off with learning how to do makeup, learning how to content create from a very young age. So I hear you in the sense of, you're saying like, who would want to do that? But I think there are people who are setting off to, it's the same way where we would see like our parents like miserable from work. We would like, who would want to do that? Girl, we wake up, we have to do that too. Do you know what I mean? Right? And it's like, I think there's obviously the passion for something will always differentiate the longevity that you're saying. But we see the same in music, that once you know how it works, like you press certain buttons, you have a perfect mixture, and you can get there with very little authenticity, because sometimes that's the market that we're in. So it's like, what would you advise people from a young age that may see this as a career and a career only, and may not really have that passion for it? Because it's the same way we're seeing jobs now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, just as like,
it's just like, money. Okay, I want to do this as a job. I like it. I might be good at it. Do you know what I mean? But how many people really, really have a flair for, like, I don't know, like banking or something? Do you know numbers? Yeah. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, as much as they like the career, they may not like love the career. They may not have a passion for it. So influencing and content creating, I think, is kind of going down that route. And in about, I was going to say 10 years, maybe 5, like, do you know what I mean? It might be a solid career for people.
Yeah, but I think for people's own, like, mental health, like, sanity, you won't last long if it's not something you genuinely like. It's like any job. I see, you know, people going into like nursing degrees, even studying medicine, and they get out in the field and they're like, I don't want to do this anymore. You have to make sure you're not doing things just for the title of it. You genuinely have to like it, because there's going to be a lot of times, especially if you're setting out to do this as a career straight away, that the content you put out won't be well received, and you will have to continue to do it with no love, and you have to have enough love to compensate that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I guess, that would be my advice. Like,
to find somewhat of an intrinsic value in what you're doing than everything else. So in saying that, then talking back to like the Black community and Black female community in Ireland and girls that look like you, where do you kind of see that going in the future?
Well, okay, let's see. I'd say in the next 5 years, we're definitely gonna see a lot more Black girls like in-house, like, you know, with like media and stuff, like more people on like TV screens, more people as like showrunners or producers and whatever. And then these will be the people, even in PR agencies and marketing agencies, because I've like heard this firsthand, and these are the people that will put other Black people forward, Black women forward, and you almost have to force our image down people's throats in Ireland to make them notice us and be like, we're here to stay. So I think the more people we have in like the workforce, and I see it like all of us now that kind of came to Ireland in like the 90s and the early 2000s, we're all like getting jobs now, like proper jobs, office jobs, marketing, PR, TV, everything like that. So I think in the next 5 years, they'll be in manager roles and in roles where they can actually use their voice and put people forward. So I do think, we're on a really nice upward
positive
path.
trajectory.
What do you think?
What do I think? I think when I talk about the Black Irish community, there are two scenes I'm talking about. I'm talking about Black Irish community in the Irish community overall. And then there's a Black Irish community as a community on its own. I think that those two are on two very different trajectories. I think the most successful people are the ones who can market themselves with a foundation in the Black community, but with kind of, I don't know, a story or some way to sell it to the Irish population. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Because I think I started off the majority of like the content creating stuff from like an activism point of view. I moved back from America and I found a lot of Black people doing a bunch of stuff, and I was from Waterford. I didn't know any Black people. So I was just like, Jafaris? Who's this? Do you know what I mean? This is a really cool guy. That's where I met your sister. So it was like, there's no platforms putting these people on. I'm going to make my own, right? But I'm just a random girl from Waterford that nobody really knows outside of football. So why am I talking to these artists? Why am I talking to you? Do you know what I mean? But there's people like you on Virgin Media, and we're going to touch on that. And I think that's where the representation happens. You can't represent when everybody looks like you. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, there's a foundation here, but it needs to be presented to the masses. But I hear you in the sense that it feels like such an active, forceful thing, but I think that it feels like that because there's no one there yet.
It's going to be so
to leave
much
open
easier.
the door.
I know.
Do you know what I mean?
You're going to have like your sisters, your aunties will be there in 5 to 10 years time. It's going to be so much easier. But I feel like us now, like it's a bit lonely, right? Like there's so many occasions, like events and stuff where it's just me and Oyen that are the only two people there, or me and Billy.
Oh my god!
Like it's just very like.
Was it the Stellar Awards last year? And Oyen, the one Oyen made everybody stand there. I love that. I didn't know half the people in it, but I love that. But like, I think it's like kind of being okay with people leaving only the Black community to do stuff elsewhere, because at the end of the day, that's where the money is, that's where the longevity is, and that's what we want to do. It's not. For me personally, I don't believe in segregation. Like doing things only for your community is segregation, I think. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think doing things with the point of view of helping your community from the people who will help. Because you can't help if we have nothing here.
You have to play with them.
And then bring it back, amalgamate it. Like it's a two-way thing, and I think for me that's what I'm seeing in the content creating on a bigger scale. Do you know?
And I don't want like the Black community, like we almost have to be extra supportive of one another, because I don't want anyone to ever feel like, oh, they're being a sellout for, you know, giving more time to like a white corporation instead of a Black one. But it's like what you said, they're almost working double time, or they have a different plan. Like some people might plan to just focus everything, all efforts in one community. Some people might do both by working on networking the right way, so we can open doors in future and like have a powerful enough voice, so when someone comes after they're finished, you know, TY or whatever for experience, it's easy. Do you know what I mean? And that's where all the funding is, and I feel like everything stems from money. Like you need money to do this shit. Do you know what I mean?
But definitely in saying all of that, I do still want more Black platforms growing together, in the sense of like, I love the sense of the UK having Link Up TV, GRM, all of these things, and it's not that those things aren't there as well, but it's this running joke on 90s Baby Show where it's I think Fred even tweeted today, and it's September by the time you guys watching this, it's August by the time people are going to be watching this, probably October, but it's like Fred was literally tweeting saying like, oh, all the corporations are starting their Black History Month campaigns, and we don't want that either. We don't want just a month. We want it to be like a healthy relationship between the Black community. Like, yes, we are proud of being Black, and this is what we do, but in the sense of like in Ireland.
Yes, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And having funding to build that and move it. And I think it's a very hard ask, in the sense that I don't think I've seen it done the ideal way anywhere, America, UK. But I think that there's something special about Ireland that I would like to see it done that way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm trying to say?
I think it can be done, because like when you see people in the UK, like the likes of Nella Rose, Chunks, Billy, all them, they all started on their own platforms, which was probably received on a wider scale just because it's a bigger country. There's more of a Black population there. And then that leads people who have money, like Amazon and Netflix, whatever, to be like, there's an audience there, we want to grab them. Do you know what I mean? But I feel like as Ireland grows, the Black population here grows as well. And the more we continue with our platforms and doing what we do, people from corporations that have money will want us then. It just might take a bit longer.
It's annoying to say it in that sense as well, because as you're saying that, I can see rebuttals. Do you get me? Like, why do we want them to want us? Like,
I know.
They have the money. Do you
know
what I'm trying to say?
It's money.
Like, do you know what I'm trying to say? It's so hard, and it's like you almost have to rejig your values and just see the world from a different angle sometimes, and it's annoying to have to do that. Like sometimes, like, and that's why we're going back to what we started talking about, branding. Sometimes I'm just me, and I just want to be me. Yeah. And I just want that to be enough. Yeah. I don't want to be pandering to a white corporation. I don't want to be always having the burden of representing the Black community. I just want to be Nessa. Yeah. And whatever Nessa is, and whatever like categories I fit into, I want to do that equally. Do you know what I mean? And but unfortunately, we don't live in an airy-fairy world, and things have to work a certain way. But I personally would like to see it in a more positive light, where we're seeing things less of the tokenism and more of the genuine, okay, these people are good and they're doing the same way a corporation would see a white person being like, okay, they have an audience, let's build on this, let's work with them, like let them work for us, like with seeing that as well. But not because we're Black, but because we also have a niche. Do you know what I mean? And I think sometimes it's hard to see that, because the outcome sometimes is the same, but it's the intention behind it. And we'll only know the intention from consistency. Yeah, yes. Exactly. So in October, I got asked to do this thing. Cool, I got asked to do this thing. If in November I'm not hearing from you, that's a tokenism. Exactly. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And I think it's, from our side of things, it's unlearning a lot of traumas that we've been through to accept some of these things, but at the same time it's working with our Indigenous Irish population and stuff. But that kind of went a different way. That's not really where like social justice. You know what I mean? But talk to me about your presenting. I feel like that's your baby. I feel like that's where your heart is.
Yeah, I'm just like a little child whenever I get to do something like that. My face just lights up.
Yeah. How did you land that? So Love Island contributor. Yeah. Look at you.
Well,
super fan, Katja.
How did it even start? Okay, so basically I worked a lot with MIJ Masks. So when I won that gig, I pretty much had to host Instagram lives on their page with different like UK personalities. We had to do research for questions. We always had to do like a briefing call. We always had to do live. And then sometimes those lives would be great and then received well. Sometimes you'd be doing a live at like 6 views. And it was a lot, like it was a whole year of that. So I was like always practicing, working on the craft. Even, I just saw it as practice. This is practice for my future.
Yeah.
Right? So my agency knew all about that. Because I signed with them in 2020 and they took me on as a model, but then also for like content creating. They were like, we want to manage everything you do. And then I told them about this and I had a meeting with them and I was like, I want to get into TV here. How the hell do I get into TV here?
Yeah.
And I think they told me something like, it's really hard, you know, there's a lot of like barriers and stuff, but come up with your own show ideas and like we'll see where it goes. And I'm just like how do you just come up with a show idea? Like that's hard. Like you can come up with a show idea, but it's like, can I just not apply? Like it's a job, show my talent, showcase, give me anything.
You're not looking for people?
Y'all
not hiring?
Yeah, I will report, I will present,
yeah.
Right? And basically it took a lot of time, a lot of prayer, a lot of manifesting, and I got this message from a producer on Virgin Media that followed me, and she said, we're doing a screen test for some new talents. Do you want to come in? It was a 7-minute screen test. I've never been so nervous for something in my life because I wanted it so bad. Because I'm like, in Ireland you have kind of like RT and then you have Virgin Media. It's like one of the two biggest platforms. And then I went for it. I had to do my research. I researched like 2 days and I had to do like a whole show with these people sitting in as the morning presenters. And and I think I waited like a week or two and I heard back and I got it. And from there, I think the way it works with them, like they can't really hard launch like a brand new personality into their TV channels. Like you almost have to do your contributions, like you work from the bottom to the top nice and slow. But I'm really happy where I am because even getting there, it's only the beginning for me. And it was hard to get there and I had to do like a whole year of like work and no appreciation. I'm grateful to be in that position, and even being inside the building, you see how different it is, like the equipment they have, everything. And there's a black show runner there, and I'm like, oh my god, like it's starting.
I hear you. I'm not the only one.
And that felt really nice because they could just go for like a cup of tea and she's just there and you're just chatting and you're just like, you can talk about the same things. It's different. So it's just the beginning, but I am so grateful to be there, and they're great to work with.
I'm so happy for you. That made me really happy to see as well.
Thank you so much.
And I was like, I already asked you to come on the show. I think I asked you to come on the show, and then 2 days later, I was like, "Cow, I'm content. Let's go." No, I'm joking, but that's lit, man.
I could see you doing Virgin as well. You're a Virgin girl.
Country.
I mean,
I'm gonna say RTE, or TG Carter, Tommy Gamad. You get me? Like all of that come true. I'm gonna do on letters. So we don't do all of that. I don't mind, but Katja, it's been lovely having you, and I actually just want to go talk the whole time, but it's really warm in here.
Thank you for having me. We brought the energy back to a lovely place.
The energy was good as well. I was just like, I scared this girl. I shouldn't have done that, but it's okay.
No, I'm not scared anymore. I'm walking out here smiling.
But is there anything you want to plug or anything that you want to mention or talk about? What's on your mind?
I mean, nothing.
That almost feels like I just said, "Where's your head at?" Sorry, boys.
That's the last thing I asked me. But just keep your eyes peeled for me on Virgin Media. I don't know, my Instagram. See, my name is always really okay. This is another thing, actually. PSA. This is how you pronounce my name. It's Katja, not Katja, because a lot of people call me Katja. Just in case you see the spelling.
So I'm just gonna say
Katja.
So Ron, just go and put it everywhere that I said Katja, let's just pretend that
I should have said it before, but a lot of people always think that my name is Katja, but it's weird because it's a German name. So the J is
You know what's so funny is that like I feel like I'm saying Katja, but like Does that
It's
say?
hard to
So
put
one second.
together,
So
right?
Katja. What's
It's
the
like-
difference?
it's hard.
Did you see a difference there?
Yeah, you said
Oh. I was just trying to check. But yeah, no, thanks for coming on, guys. I hope you really enjoyed this episode. Gonna have Katya's details and everything in the description. Peace out. Bye.
Oh.
That was